I crash, this will be viral.
It would actually. At least to be able to see you went on your phone.
That's true. Yeah.
So we're sitting for, this is just an audio podcast, we're sitting with Andrew Wright in his chimney. We've just been for a swim. Where did we swim?
Gorchin Lakes.
Gorchin Lakes.
Yes.
They say lakes over here. They're very Scottish. I found that in the last few days at Balmoral. There's a lot of Scottish similarities, but they have lakes. Even though they have Loch Ness, which
And
is
Loch Earn.
and Loch Earn.
And Loch Derg.
We've got Loch Earn as well.
We don't.
Yes, we do. Yeah, there's a famous shearing competition. It's Loch Earn Head. It's at the head of Loch Earn.
Earn must be a Scottish word.
How E-A-R-N?
E-R-N-E.
Different spelling.
Yeah,
Different spelling. Don't get them mixed up. So yeah, we're just on the way back to his. It's about a half-hour drive, is it? 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
So you're going to get 20 minutes of us. I might put the video on YouTube because I know some people don't get access to the audio. So if you really want to see that, it will be on YouTube. But what's the big thing? Just obviously we've had great crack and it's been light-hearted and banter. So we're trying to keep this light-hearted as well.
I feel too relaxed to even think.
I know. Let's not get in. The big thing is the nitrate action plan is a big chat over here at the moment, which isn't. We're going to say it's just not going to come to fruition with all goodwill.
It's not getting past the political parties at the minute.
Right. So that's that out the way.
But I have a theory.
Oh, he's got a farm theory.
I have a farm theory, right? There is two possibilities. One, the people who came up with the nitrates action plan in its current form are idiots and it was never going to go through, but they thought it was. Or this is their opening position and they always knew that it would struggle to get passed. Mm-hmm. So their plan then is to pare back some of the most controversial things and still be left with something which would be more like greater than they would have had if they just came out of the gates with their original plan.
Yes.
So it's an initial negotiating position.
Like you could argue, with the inheritance tax, if they now change the threshold to 3 million, we'll all be like, oh, they've been good to us.
We've been good to us.
Yeah, but actually, they got what they wanted all along.
Yes, exactly. That's being generous to the people who made it, and it's actually a smart negotiating position.
Interesting.
Because its current form is genuinely devastating.
Oh yeah, I've been watching it. In fact, it's impossible. Like the farmers,
it's impossible.
But the farmers would just all rise up and it wouldn't happen.
Yes, but it literally is impossible. Like for my business, I would have to get rid of 50% of my animals.
Yeah, for anyone wondering what we're talking about, we're essentially, well, you'd be better explaining it, but you're essentially talking about the acreage you'd need to put out, how much nitrogen you can put on per acre.
The main issue is the phosphate balance.
Okay.
So a grazing farm like mine, which should be a fairly efficient farm from a phosphate point of view, because I don't buy that much feed, I am still 50% over the limit they're trying to set, which means I would either need 50% more land or keep much less animals.
Yeah, and of course, which in Northern Ireland is absolutely impossible because of the price of land here.
Exactly.
What's an acre near you? How much is an acre near you?
23 to 30,000 pounds.
It's insane.
Yeah,
young people will never get started here.
That's for this land. Like, it's not prime arable land. Like
I could pan round actually from it. I was watching on YouTube
like
and see.
It's not bad land, but it's not anything special.
Do you know these boys at the silage here?
No, I know none of my neighbours.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Honestly. I am so bad with names.
Is that just because you're quite geeky and you're not into it?
My brain is numbers and nothing else.
Yeah, you're not. You're the stats guy and the numbers and the data guy. You're not the farming guy.
Yes.
You're not the hang about the market and hang on a gate and have a blether.
I go to the market about once every 3 years.
Interesting. Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think that would surprise anyone.
No.
Whereas traditional, like, every farmer knows every farmer and how many years they've been there. And
yeah, it's not a good thing. I wish I knew my neighbours.
Aye, of course you do.
You know? Yeah. But it's just one of the things I just don't remember.
Okay, fair enough. I don't remember, I don't care.
I don't care.
You decide, the outcome's the same.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. And what's, people like to know, oh God, there's some lovely Valentine's here. I should really be looking at more of this as we drive.
So he's an auctioneer.
Valley Blacknose and beautiful big house there. These people will be watching this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Highland
We're
cows,
on
look at
YouTube.
this. Wee Highland calf. I think I'll need to put this on YouTube now, actually.
Yeah.
That's a couple of rashes in that field, whoever that is there, just a couple of rashes there, just folk are driving by noticing that.
So how often have you been to Northern Ireland before this time?
First time ever.
First time in Northern Ireland?
I've drove through it to go to ploughing, and I drove through it to go to Clonmany.
That doesn't really count.
No, exactly.
You're properly in Northern Ireland now.
Properly, and it's been incredible.
It's very like Scotland.
Very.
Yes.
See the crack at Balmoral?
Yes.
It's like being at home.
So,
I don't even need to change the way I speak or anything.
Well,
we
would be called Ulster Scots.
Aye, so like...
Yeah, so the relation is like, runs deep.
It is incredible. And it's, it's been mind-blowing. I'm annoyed I've not been before.
Yeah, okay.
Like I feel stupid.
To Balmoral Show.
Well, especially with the sheep game thing, like, you know,
Yeah,
go to other
yeah.
shows, why not? But Balmoral's easier to get to than the Welsh, or it's about the same time to get to the Yorkshire.
And you have a huge amount of support over here.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
So no, it's great crack. And I'm giving a shout out for Donkey at Grassman, because he was a big help in getting us sorted with customs. And Ruth, who's his right hand woman, they were a big help in getting us sorted with customs and all that to go over, which is good of them. So every chance I get, I give them a shout out.
Well deserved.
So getting into stats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We like talking numbers here. Whenever I see you, I like to know what you're on for the milk, how much you get per litre.
44 pence a litre,
that
which
back
is
a wee
good.
bit?
It is back a little bit, yeah, but it's still very good. And markets looked very dodgy 2 months ago, but
Okay.
they've kind of all stabled up again. So things are looking pretty good.
Did they look dodgy with the spring flush, or what was causing
It was just an unknown as to whether the market would drop over the spring flush, but we've not got past it, but it looks good.
And are you First Milk here? Who are you with?
Dale Farm.
Dale Farm. Is First Milk quite a big buyer here?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
I don't know who I was talking to. It was with First Milk the other day, but they were on a good price actually.
Yeah,
It's just not coming back to me who that was. It was a good price. Is this hens here?
Hens, yeah.
Chicken farms here. So can you get planning? We did a podcast recently about chicken sheds.
You can get no planning for any building in agriculture in Northern Ireland. Still.
Any building.
No, I couldn't get planning for a calf house, a cow house, anything.
Could you get planning to replace a shed
No,
if you're making it
no.
more efficient?
No. If I wanted to replace my cow house, I'm not allowed to.
We spoke. You spoke about this in the podcast
Yeah,
when you come over.
yeah.
But like,
Here, but you know what? I've done some more digging because I mean to make a video on this, but I haven't got around to it, okay? And it's because of ammonia that farmers in Northern Ireland are not allowed to build anything, even replacing buildings, okay? And it's always been described to me as an air quality issue.
okay.
So that makes you think in your head that it's floating about in the air and it's causing some sort of effect on human health. It is 30 times lower than the very minimum level it would have to be to hurt humans. It is literally not even close to an air quality issue, which makes total sense when you realise that we have westerly winds from the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's just.
And we live in a country which is like this.
Yeah.
We don't have an air quality issue.
No.
So what's actually happening is the ammonia is making some grass grow in 1 or 2 bogs. And all of this...
And everyone's getting a panic on.
No one's getting a panic on, it's just
No, but the politicians.
idiotic government.
Yeah, the government, I'm saying, yeah. But does the Stormont government, do they get things passed? Do they do anything? Like, what happens? I'm not trying to slag them off. Because to me it was crazy. Like they just weren't running for a while.
That was honestly better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did anything change? Like,
It was better.
was it?
Yeah.
Because they weren't meddling.
We have I think one of the big issues in Northern Ireland is that we have a very unique style of government where almost all of the political parties are in power sharing. So they all work together.
Yeah.
There's no opposition, and they all sort of make decisions together.
Yeah.
So what that means is that every single political party has had a hand in every single department over the last 20 years.
Okay.
So they can't be really critical of the problems because they're partially responsible.
Yes, I see. And
So our health service...
Is it on Denmark or somewhere very similar to that?
Possibly.
Yeah, there's
but
one of
our
these
health
places.
service, the NHS in Northern Ireland, is a total basket case. My dad has had a hip replacement. They had to go private because the waiting list is 6 years.
To be fair, I think a lot of NHSs are bad, but yeah, you could be the worst. I wouldn't honestly know.
But
the
the people in Northern Ireland don't even complain about it, and the politicians don't make any political capital out of it because they've all been partially responsible.
Right, so they're just a bunch of mates together.
I wouldn't say they're mates, but they just don't bring up issues because someone will point the finger back to them as to what they done 4 years ago.
Okay.
You know?
Interesting. Very different to Scottish
Very different to
government,
Scotland.
I'd say.
Yeah.
But I take it, what is the structure of voting? And is it similar to Scotland, where there's some first past the post, but then there's proportional representation as well?
It's proportional representation.
100% proportional representation?
I am almost certain, yeah.
Right, okay. So there's no first past the post element?
No, because the Northern Ireland's extremely divided still. They're on Republican,
Still? They used to be
nationalist,
divided?
unionist, so it's
Sorry, I'm going to help myself.
still. But that means that I think they use proportional representation so that everyone feels like their vote
Counts.
counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we have kind of a bit of both with us. We've got like a kind of list vote system and all that. Like you get a second choice and crazy stuff like that.
I think we have that too. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I could be wrong too. Like I get all this politics chat, but I'm sure that's how it is.
It's complicated, that's all I know.
But why are they so anti-farming? Or is it just because of this algae thing that they've gone about it?
I don't think the majority of political parties are anti-farming in Northern Ireland. But the political party at the minute, who has the Department of Agriculture and is the Minister for the Department of Agriculture, is genuinely anti-farming.
Okay.
Like our farming minister was a member of Friends of the Earth. Like,
Yeah.
so, and the people within our Department of Agriculture, because they also have a remit for the environment, they are definitely in part anti-farming as well.
Yeah, okay. It's good to be Scottish. Sometimes it's good to be Scottish.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't have an issue with phosphates or nitrates.
No, we're okay.
You're fine.
We're okay in that sense. But your milk price, do you know your cost of production?
I actually don't. I used to know it down to a T and could have told
But
you
you're
exactly.
just making so much money now you don't bother looking it up?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's actually genuinely the reason. Yeah. Whenever you make money, you do get very lazy at trying to track your costs.
I actually love your honesty. I think that's one of the best things.
I wasn't going to say that.
No,
I was going to say, I've got too busy to keep track of the numbers.
Did you like my good interviewing technique though, where I just call you out for it half jokingly, but I know that's the reason.
Yeah.
But
should I give you a politician's answer?
It's good of you being honest.
Yeah.
Usually that's where people stumble and go, but folk will like you for being honest.
Yeah, well.
So you know it's making good money, so you don't need to worry.
Whenever you don't have to worry about getting more and more debt, you definitely pay less attention to how much you're spending.
Do you operate in an overdraft or with an
overdraft?
overdraft?
We do, yeah.
So you're in an overdraft all the time?
We bounce out of it when the milk check comes in, and then we go into it again by the time the next milk check comes in.
But if your margin, say you're in a good spell just now, how long would it need to stay strong for you to be constantly out of it?
Generally, that never happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that are you monthly milk checks?
Monthly.
So it's a massive check.
Yeah.
So that's why it's such a big jump.
It used to be that our overdraft was maybe worth 3 milk checks, but now it's only worth like 1.5. So, and our costs have obviously increased.
So you are getting closer to it.
Yeah, so basically I have to be completely out of my overdraft because I'll get pretty close some months if it's bad for cash flow to being like at my limit. Like the cash flow swings in dairy is astronomical at the minute. Like you could be down 100 grand in a month just because of when bills arrive and your tax bill's due. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100 grand more out.
Yes,
because you're taxed due.
And you've other stuff to pay for, and maybe you've paid for a piece of equipment, like.
Yeah, it's silage season, and you're.
Well, I'm lucky I do my own silage, so I don't have to worry about that.
So you do, you don't.
But that's a great example. Is
just a bit more diesel.
Someone might have a £30,000 contractor bill to pay off.
Yes, but generally, see people that get 30,000 contractor bills. Do they get them through in a one-or, or do they get them through in instalments? How's that work?
If you pay your bills, you'll get it all in one go. So because my contractor knows that I pay him, he lets it build up to the end of the year, and then I just pay him one time for the year.
But at least you're in a routine of doing that. You know that's coming, and
yes, I can plan for it.
Okay.
And it's also good for him then, because then he can go and buy a tractor or something, and he gets a big lump of money in one go.
Yeah, okay.
I totally get it.
And he knows he'll get it quick, so he's not worried.
And he knows he'll get it when he wants it.
Yeah, not when he's under pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
What
contracting do you get done? Do you do umbilicals yourself? Slurry yourself?
So, I more and more use a contractor actually. A lot of slurry and I pay the contractor to put out, just because he can do it so much faster than we can.
Yeah, more efficiently.
Yeah, and sometimes it will actually be more financially beneficial to pay someone to do it, even though we have all the own equipment. So this year, after our first cut, we were still lifting silage on the Friday, and I had the contractor in with 4 tankers to spread slurry at the same time, and then we got rain on the Saturday, and it didn't rain for 2 weeks, but that slurry that was out on that Friday got washed in, started the grass growing again.
Yeah. And if you're doing it yourself, you'd never have got it.
It would have taken me a full week.
Yeah.
He put out like 180,000 gallons.
And you're saying 4 tankers there, so you're not using like an umbilical system, you're just tankers?
He was blowing off his tankers down his umbilical system.
So tankers into a, would you call that a big square thing? Like a...
Yes, a nurse tank, yeah.
No, nurse tank.
All our silage,
dumping station.
All our slurry goes on the ground, which is far away from the farm, because that's our silage ground. So it needs
so obviously ground at
nutrients.
home you put your cows in it because you're a big outdoor grazer.
Yes, and then they have enough manure just naturally, so it doesn't get any slurry.
And how has outdoor grazing been this year at Doddle?
Amazing.
Is it?
I actually said last year in a video, we've had like 3 bad grazing years, and I said last year in a video that what happens with grazing is you'll get 3 bad years and you'll be about to give up on it, and then you'll get an amazing year and you'll forget about all the bad years and you'll think grazing's the best thing ever. That is exactly what's happened. Grazing has been amazing this year.
Yeah, because no mess, bone dry,
No mess, the cows
wastage.
are happy, grazing out well.
They'll need to eat less when it's soaking wet and they're getting wet.
Yeah,
and
so
they're
hot milk
happier
yields, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been milking well. It's just as a comparison, I took a ton of meal off them when they went out to grass, and I'm getting the same amount of milk.
A ton of meal for the whole outfit.
Herd, yeah.
So that's what, 400 quid?
Well, like 260.
260. Oh,
Where
you're
are
buying
you
massive
buying your
bulk.
meal?
Yeah, you're buying big bulk. I'm feeding meal cows, mate. They need a bit more than that. Rubbish you
Yeah.
feed the cows. So that's so 260. Okay, so it's saying you 260 per day.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of money.
And I could probably put it back a little bit more, but I'm milking more cows than ever before.
How many cows?
192 at the minute, which is
Yeah,
our
you're creeping
most
up.
cows we've ever milked. But I don't have the cubicles for them to sleep at night, so I have to keep them out at night.
But you would keep them out at night anyway, would you not?
No, a lot of years if it's wet, they'll be in and out and in and out. Like,
Oh, you would keep them out at nights, even in the summer?
that's how I manage grass growth. Is I pull cows in and out, and we're extremely highly stocked. We're 6 cows a hectare. The average for like a Southern Ireland traditional grazing herd is half of that.
6 cows per hectare
On a grazing
is
block.
3 cows per acre. No, I'm not making that.
75 acres, we graze
two-
190 cows.
75 acres, you have 190 cows?
Yes.
Mate, I could be a dairy farmer.
You could be a big dairy farmer. How many
So
acres do you
easily.
have?
Oh, I don't have. I've only got 14.
But you could get more.
Well, I've got some
I am
rented.
calling it now.
I've got some rented. But
5 years, Cammy will have dairy cows.
if it's 75 acres
Yeah, round the farm.
around the farm,
The grazing block.
How much silage you got?
Another 230,
Aye, so that's more like
250.
Aye, you're way over. Like you're.
Oh, we have like 330,
Aye, you're an acre a cow,
350.
so. But aye, for grazing, you're doing 200 cows in 75 acres.
Yeah, well, 190, yeah. But that will not sustain that. That's unsustainable.
Yeah. So what happens then? They go out to the once you get
I
your
will
cuts
be
off.
getting 10 cows gone somehow.
But would it
factory.
even sustain 180 cows?
Yeah, it does every year, yeah.
So 75 acre does 180 cows all summer.
Yes, but we will have to buffer feed silage.
Yes,
So
okay.
instead of
At night you would usually feed silage and then.
Yeah, so instead of
Yeah.
adjusting acreage, which is what most grazing farmers would do to match grass growth, we instead use silage to adjust how much grass the cows need. So
Okay.
it's about trying to maximise milk output.
Yes.
And a really good example of this is I went to see a dairy farmer in Southern Ireland, in Cork, and they're famous for being great grazing herds. And off the same grazing block, 75 acres, he was producing 700,000 litres of milk, and I produce 1.5 million. But I'm still a grazing herd. 220 days out in a year, like, we do graze properly. That's just how intensive we are.
But yeah, but that's incredible. But how much more of your cost to his?
Not
enough to make it.
enough to even come close.
Yeah.
But
You're
the
still
same
way ahead.
argument works for people who house their cows all year. They are producing. I know a guy,
Yeah.
Red House Holsteins, David Irwin.
Yeah.
He is producing 2.5 million litres with the same number of cows as me.
What height is David?
What height is he?
Uh-huh.
What height is he?
Well, he's got quite a big bench press.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And I always find
Yeah.
like
He's
you
like.
need to be quite short to have a good bench
No,
press.
he's not. He's not that short.
What height is he?
Maybe 6 foot.
Is he?
Maybe.
He's
No,
a
he's
unit.
probably not.
He's
We'll
a-
say-
he's
just
a-
to offend David.
It's hard you because you're 6'5", so everyone's so short.
This is the problem. I don't notice height.
Yeah.
Like I
Is he taller than me?
No.
About
you're-
the same?
Are you 6 foot?
6'2".
You're 6'2".
Shut up.
You wouldn't think it.
Shut up.
You
Smashed
don't
him at a
look
swim
that
the day.
tall. No,
Like,
he didn't. No, he didn't.
Swim. It was like he swims. Like, swims 2. How often do you swim?
Once a week.
Once a week. There you go. I probably swam about 5 years ago.
Hold on. But you're an unbelievable athlete.
Oh, stop it.
Like, an unbelievable athlete.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Wait till you see me getting smashed at the open cheering tomorrow. But no, I wasn't saying that I thought he was short, but I just think his bench press is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think he cheats.
But
I mean, like, let's be honest.
well, but his squats, his weights are very
Are
impressive.
the weights in his gym real weights?
But I'm never that impressed by weights if they're really short, because then it's like,
Yes.
do you know what I mean?
Yes. It's like running.
But if you're 6 foot, then
That's
David,
impressive.
let us know.
I'm certain they're fake weights.
I love that. Anyway, that's been 20 minutes of good chat. I think we're back at base, and I've got Balmoral Show again tomorrow. So, cheers, folks. See you for the next one.
See you later.